Ladies and gentlemen, this content is brought to you by Prize Picks, the leader in daily fantasy sports. It's super easy to play. All you got to do is go there, prizepicks.com, download the Prize Picks app, whatever you want to do, and you choose 2 to 6 players, and they're going to give you projected stats. All you have to do is choose more or less on those projected stats. For example, right, we're all NFL fans here. We love the Cowboys. I'm going to most likely pick more on Dak Prescott passing yards. Also, as an Eagles hater, if I see Jalen Hurts interceptions, I'm always going to assume that he's going to throw more than what they are projecting him to throw. And you can win 2, 5, 10, 50, 100 times your money. The more players that you select in that lineup, the more you can win. And it's not just football. They got baseball, MMA is year-round, basketball will be coming up soon. And if you're a gamer, they even got Counter-Strike. So let me save you some money. Voch says this. I'm going to walk you through this slowly, okay? You download the Prize Picks app, okay? You use code Voch, V-O-C-H, Voch, all right? And let's just say that you deposit $10, all right? You go make your little lineup and you play $5. When you play 5, Prize Picks will give you 50 instantly. Play 5, they give you 50. They just want you to play some more. You can't beat that with a stick. Use code Voch, V-O-C-H, Voch, all right? Prize Picks, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, the leader in daily fantasy sports. And we back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all. Come on in. Sit down somewhere. Y'all ain't doing nothing else. Listen, let me just one time.
Well, come on inside and get yourself something cool to drink.
You know, chat, we have had an opportunity to kind of let the emotions die down, to sit on this trade that the Cowboys performed and, you know, kind of let it all die down. Look at this thing rationally a little bit, right? You know, when I was at full emotion, I was in the gym, I was upset. I was like, man, what the hell are we doing? Trading a 4th round pick for Jonathan Mingo. And now that everything has subsided, the hell we doing trading a 4th round pick for Jonathan Mingo? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I just took a look at his film and all that, and hey, man, let's just try to give an honest assessment about what's going on with the youngster, okay? Coming out of Ole Miss, he was a player that I had my eyes on, right? He's a 6'2", 6'3", 220-pound character. You know, when we talk about the wide receivers and Jerry Jones got on the internet complaining, he was like, hey, man, we need our wide receivers to run through press coverage. We need them to be more physical, to run through press man coverages there. Well, he's a guy that kind of fits that, right? Jonathan Mingo is a more physical type guy, you know, give him the ball quick, yak type dude. He just like Ryan Flournoy. And we'll figure it out. He's just like Ryan Flournoy in that way. But coming out of Ole Miss, I didn't necessarily think that he was the 2nd round pick that he got drafted. You know what I mean? I thought Carolina kind of reached a little bit to get him. I didn't consider him to be that. He was more like of a 3, like a late 3 kind of guy, early 4 you know, for a lot of people, just me looking around, you know, just looking at the social media machines there. But for me personally, he was like a late 3 kind of guy. Here's the issue. Here's the situation. Okay. I think a 4th round pick is a lot. I think a 4th round pick is a lot. I think when you get in situations like this, you have to gather as much information as you possibly can. And yeah, he was ranked highly coming out of Ole Miss by this team. They liked him a bunch. I don't know if they had a 2nd round grade on him. And yes, you would love for him to come in and be a dual type positive for you, right? Hey, you can use him right now and you can use him a little bit later. He's a guy that can linger around on this roster and help you out. He got 2 more years of youth on his contract where he's making $38 and 6 gold doubloons there. So he's not going to be expensive. And I think that's another positive for the Joneses there. But my issue is we know that 4th round picks, especially in this organization, or at least the attempt that we make for them, 4th round picks are closer to what we would call a premium pick than like just some throw the darts, right? We throw darts at the 5th round guys, the 6th round guys, the 7th rounders, right? And when we're looking at comp picks, the Cowboys have 4 5th round picks and 1 6th round pick. So for one, it kind of makes a little bit of sense in my personal opinion to, you know, maybe throw a 5th in the mix to kind of see what they say. They traded their wide receiver 1 for a 5th and a 6th pick swap, right? So now they traded us the wide receiver 5 for like a 4 and a 7th pick swap. So that's where I'm like really upset about. But I think we missed on the value here. I think if you're going to go get a dude like Jonathan Mingo, and look, I don't mind you going to go get a young player. I'm just not trying to move on from the 4ths. We just came from a draft where, you know, where tons of running backs came off the board. Tons of running backs came off the board, and the Dallas Cowboys are in dire need of one that we could have taken, right? But we couldn't because we didn't have a 4th round pick because we spent it on Trey Lance or a player that's not playing for you this year. I'm looking right at this Dallas Cowboy team that's going to have a bunch of needs. I honestly think wide receiver is still going to be one of them. I don't think Jonathan Mingo changes anything in terms of your wide receiver need. And I'm going to kind of be upset about it if the Cowboys don't draft wide receiver in the 2025 draft because they feel like Mingo is an adequate draft pick. They're going to treat Mingo as a draft pick just like they treated Trey Lance as a draft pick. You're not even throwing darts at the board in this case. You are using 2 4th round picks in back-to-back years on players that you're not going to use, and that's the hard part. Okay. Now, if you're thinking about value, then sure, value-wise, it's kind of tough to get behind the Mingo thing. Value-wise, it's difficult to get behind him. But at the end of the day, you add a young player to your team. Is he a diverse kind of player that can kind of help you day one? I personally don't think so. If it was me, I know Jerry wanted to get bigger and more physical. I don't hate that, right? Because if you look at Brandon Cooks, you look at Turpin, even Tolbert, if you kind of think about it, he's not like a big body guy. But we kind of got dudes that are fighting for the X-receiver situation, right? Jalen Brooks, Flournoy, and now Jonathan Mingo are there. The 3 of those guys are competing for that last kind of wide receiver slot, for that X-receiver type of situation, the big physical slant running dude. They're going to be competing for like the future of that spot. So that's that. I think Jordan Phillips got cut today, so we ain't really lose too much on that. Jordan Phillips, terrible. But it is what it is here. Now, if you saying, but Voch, well, what about the idea that Andy Dalton and Bryce Young were throwing the football and maybe the Carolina Panthers offense wasn't built to fully take advantage of Jonathan Mingo's talents? My answer to you is cool, that's kind of fair, but damn, the Cowboys offense ain't neither. They ain't either. Jonathan Mingo about to be running up the field and turning around just like all the rest of the receivers here, right? So I mean, it's something worth thinking about. It's something worth discussing. I don't mind going to get the player, but this is my problem. If it's a 4th round pick, I would rather you go get a player that's going to help us, because you see all these other wide receivers, wide receivers that are better than Jonathan Mingo. What happened on this play? Why he was wide open? Jonathan Mingo down bottom. He's number 15. Zeke can go ahead and come up off 15, by the way. I'm sick of Zeke. All right, busted coverage, cool, whatever. So he's gonna be a run down the field and turn around guy here too. It is what I'm saying. So the 4th round pick, we seen better receivers go for cheaper than that. In just this trade deadline cycle, we saw better receivers go cheaper than that. That's the hard part, right? All these other guys going for 5s and 6 and 5 and 6 swaps, and we're sitting up here sending the 4th, and we could have used that 4th to do something different with. I don't know, whatever. At the end of the day, if Jonathan Mingo was like a 7th round pick, though, right? But Voch, what if Jonathan Mingo was more of a 7th round pick instead of like a 4th? Then yeah, cool, fine, right? I don't want to hear the guy that's gonna go, well, Voch, if you would have just drafted him with the 4th round pick, that'd be like a 4th round pick, right? Yeah, it would have been last year when we had a 4th round pick. Like his season coming out, yeah, use a 4th round pick on him then. Use a 4th round pick on him then. Don't use a 4th round pick on him once he's integrated into a team and it's proven. And we talking about a wide receiver core in Carolina that can't be too hard to crack. Deontay Johnson gets traded away. Xavier Legette's having, problems as a young wide receiver, struggles as a young wide receiver. Adam Thielen is old. If it's a time for a young emerging talent-full player to emerge and like take a spot in Carolina, now would have been the time to now's the time to do it, but he didn't. So if he's a draft pick, when you're a draft pick, you're as valuable as you're ever gonna be. You're as valuable as you're ever gonna be as a draft pick, right? But the minute you go to a football team and you ain't good on that football team, we're gonna go, hey man, look, he only got 12 catches after being in the league for 2 years. What you want a 4 for? Take this 7 and move on. I think if you'd have got Jonathan Mingo, we didn't have a 7 at the time. If you'd have got Jonathan Mingo for like a 6 or like a 6 and 7 swap or something like that, even a 5-7 swap would have been a little bit better. I'd have felt a little better about this because Jonathan Mingo was a player that I did like coming out of Ole Miss. But the fact that you gave up a 4 and there were better receivers out there on the market that you could have got for a 4 that went cheaper than a 4. I think that's what got me and some of the guys in Cowboy Nation, some of the guys and girls. Let me not, you know what I'm saying? Let me not slip on y'all. You know what I'm saying? Women watch my show too. Women watch the Cowboys too. Guys and gals are upset because of the value. You shouldn't be upset at the player. I think he's a cool player. And honestly, at this point, I think he's closer to Brooks and Flournoy than Tobin right now. So we probably won't even see him till next training camp or something like that. So we'll see. But hey, go in the comments and let me know what y'all think. You know what I mean? And we can go in the comments and think about it. I'm going to actually sit around and read the comments, so there can be some discussion down there if y'all want to. All right? Love y'all to pieces, man. Be sure to tap into the Doing All Right. I'm not going to tell you who the guest is because, you know what I'm saying, you ain't supposed to be missing shows and all that, all right? But, hey, y'all follow me on Twitter, VOCHLOMBARDI, and hit the sub button. We're trying to get to 100 by the end of next year or the end of draft season next year, all right? Y'all hold down with the Doski Woski and Peace Whiskey. Until next time. Salute.